Hello, guys, and welcome to Coffee and Crits. I'm your host, Aaron Washington, here with Mike.
Woo!
Nick.
Yeah.
So we're good to be back, and we are, once again, Guild Gaming.
Yeah.
Nick got a mug.
Yeah, the official mug.
He got the official mug.
The mug.
Yeah.
Show all the cameras.
Sure, he's got the mug.
The mug.
Like, you know, maybe like aim
So,
it kind of this way.
Yeah.
What
For
did
the
you have to
mug.
do to get that mug, Nick?
Yeah. Tommy,
Yeah.
what do we got to do to get the mug?
Forget to bring your own.
We want a mug. Okay. But we're not talking about mugs today. That is not our episode. We're actually talking about deities.
Gods.
Gods.
Among Us?
And the players who want them to take care of their problems for them.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we were talking about players that want to be God.
We can mix that
man.
into.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, we know a few power gamers who essentially
mind
want
it.
to, like, you know, be that strong. Yeah. No, we're not. We're going to talk about problem play. That's not. That's not
That
it.
was a different episode.
That was a different episode.
That's fair.
We're done with problems.
Yeah.
We kick them out now.
Oh.
Oh, we
We excommunicate them. Yeah. The God theme.
Excommunicado.
heresy.
Heresy.
Brother.
Purge the heretic.
Purge the heretic. Or, you know, another topic is how come when you make a D&D game, usually a big organizational church you control is usually evil?
Fair.
There are a lot of cults out there for some reason.
Especially in mice games.
Yeah.
Throw a
Right.
stone, there's a cult.
I
That's
don't
fair.
know
You throw a stone, there's a cult.
what you were talking
Absolutely.
about. It's a nice, water-deep adventure.
Yeah. So, let's start with this. How often are gods involved in your typical game, Nick?
Pretty involved. It may not be the gods that the party necessarily interacts with, but I love my villains to follow dark gods or have a dark god be a big prevailing thing, or cults that try to bring in
It's a
gods.
good hook. It's a good hook. Dark gods are
but
really
if-
good.
Yeah,
If
talk about
players-
cults again.
If players like want to worship a god, I kind of allow most gods just because in a really big world, you might have different pantheons throughout. So, but if somebody wants to bring in a god, I'll let them interact. It's not for free.
Yeah.
You don't get it for free
Always a price.
ever. There is no free
How about you, Mike? What is your
unless you're doing really good
what's your
things.
usual approach when it comes to like deities and your tabletop RPGs?
I don't know. I mean, you make it seem like they're all over the place because of cults.
I'm just saying the
But
particular game we're
generally-
playing has a lot of cults. Just this particular one.
Yeah.
Generally, I don't think about it till we get to like the higher echelons and map out like stories that
Yes.
incorporate more of the
Facts.
cosmic feel.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the campaign because some campaigns do have them involved. Like if your campaign deals with like a revival of a dark god,
Yes.
then the gods are going to be involved.
Yeah,
right?
because I mean, one of the last ones I ran was with Orcus and Moander.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
So it
remember that.
involved a lot of them. So it was they were kind of in play. We literally went to the Elysium. So
Yeah.
we went to Mount Celestia. So you really can't avoid the.
Bahamut. But I mean, you guys were like level 15, 16,
Yeah,
17
yeah.
or so.
Yeah, that's pretty common up
It's
there.
that's how usually I do. Another take is like players, especially like clerics and paladins.
Oh yeah.
Clerics and paladins, because well now in 5th edition specifically, it's more about like the code the oath you take than a specific deity. But clerics usually pick a deity to.
Well, I mean, you used to be able to like lose your powers if you didn't follow the very specific oath or tenets.
And now clerics don't even necessarily follow gods in 5e as much as they do domains. And
Yeah.
then they might
But
have a god
I mean, if
that
it's like
works with those
ideals,
domains.
they'd have to have like some
Yeah,
sort of
ideals and
that
stuff
they
yeah,
like
kind
I
of,
mean, but like. I usually, when someone plays a cleric in any of my games, they usually pick a deity.
They usually
got something.
do, yeah.
Hey, yeah. So, how do you, Nick? I'll start with you.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm gonna start with Mike this time.
Oh, no.
Mike,
Aw.
how do you approach someone who is a cleric who essentially they role play being devout? How do you usually like kind of reward that?
I mean, I usually just run with it. I'll see what they'll ask and like find if it's reasonable, and then I'll try to sneak it in the game in a very subtle way.
Yeah, like a little
to make
guidance.
it seem like the god is just kind of nudge the player in that direction.
Right. They don't come down like every
No,
every time
it's
they
like,
pray.
oh no, look, a tree branch just fell and pointed to the left. Well, I guess we should go that way, guys.
Yeah.
Think kind of small little things like that.
I do like it when I have a player who who puts in work. Like, if your character is religious, that's fine. But, like, if a character actually does the things, like, okay, guys, we're going to get up. He's like, all right, I'm going to do my morning devotions, or I'm going to do my thing, or I go to my temples. And they're actively doing the things. It always feels a little bit more rewarding to give them the piece of the pie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we had the one character that we had that made the sacrifice, and their god like approved it, and then turned them into a celestial. You paid the ultimate price, and so I'm going to give you the reward for that.
Yeah, that was good. That was also really
funny enough. We did that with another player a long time ago who made a character called the Savage.
Oh, and, well, I mean, he lived up to the tenets.
He lived up to it, and then he died defending the party, so he was taken up and made the god of strength and wrestling.
Oh, that's cool.
For that world.
Well, I mean, his character premise is that he wanted to wrestle everything in the world to prove how strong he was.
Yeah.
And so he died wrestling like some sort of night crawler. And so the god looked down and was like, you know what? That was a big like CR-25 guy, and you died like you got
that was kind of epic.
He was CR-25. What you talking about?
Oh no, he was up there.
No, he was up there.
He was up there.
It was mine.
Oh,
it was my monster.
It was you.
We were co-dealing.
Okay. Nice.
It was fun.
I definitely like to. I especially like if someone's like playing to a thing, and like it also is a good role play moment, especially like if the person plays a character who's like believes a domain, and then they have that opportunity to have like a crisis of faith, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that depends on definitely the role play. Like if the character role plays the situation,
it can make for some really good story moments. Going back to this idea of like redemption arcs, like falling away and then coming back. And
yeah, I mean, because technically, because Cassius fell in Barovia.
Oh yeah, he did, because we played the Curse of Strahd, and you guys were.
He fell, because
he threw down his holy symbol,
he
became an anti-paladin.
Because he was it Torum, I think, sacrifice.
Ilmater is the god of sacrifice.
It might have been Ilmater.
Yeah, so because he was a celestial warlock, and then became a paladin of redemption, because his goal was to redeem himself. But then after all the events, he had pretty much like lost his faith. We were in the abyss.
Yeah.
And that's when he cast his amulet.
Yep.
The amulet he had found, he had cast it to the ground, and
the
ground like swallowed it up. And then you were like, well, now you're an anti-paladin to Asmodeus. Because he's here.
Yeah, he heard your call when you casted down the holy symbol,
and he answered. Someone answered. So I mean, it's really cool because it makes like a lot of flavor, which actually made it like much more. Made it like more like it made it better, because then it was like, you're not the same anymore. He's like, I know, I'm a little bit more ruthless now. I don't care. I didn't care anymore. Like that kind of thing. Yeah.
It actually played off really well, because my niece wanted to be she was an anti-paladin that wanted to be a real paladin and wanted to redeem herself, and then
ended up and
so you two ended up having this clash of ideals at the very end of the game.
That was actually probably one of the most well orchestrated player clashes I think I've felt in a long time. Yeah. Especially because technically Strahd is a god in his domain. He's a lord. He's a god. So we were killing a god. And that idea of, because I really wanted Taylor's character to take the throne. But once they became a Death Knight, I was like, I can't. Yep. I'm not good, but I'm a better option than they are.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a better option.
That was a good one.
That was.
Yeah, we're talking about the really anticlimactic Strahd when the player rolled 20, and that 20 on the stake. I'm going to stake Strahd in the heart. That 20. Well, all right, he's
it's kind of funny because it made the real final fight the fight for the throne.
Yeah, it made the fight between the players, because the Strahd one was like, okay, I guess he staked.
Yeah, we had like the Duel of Fate playing, and then I think about your cleric.
Yeah. Yep.
Paladin, who essentially made a deal with a dark power of light.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and he wanted to burn everything down.
Yeah, yes. And it was like a fallen angel kind of deity.
Yeah.
So its powers were, radiant and holy, but it was like it wasn't good.
You need to purge the unclean.
So technically you were falling, but just, it just had the look of light.
Yep.
Doing a very kind of angel of light.
Looking
deception.
forward to running that world. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. A world of light.
Yes.
Barovia.
Does that make you the Shadow Bringers?
Oh,
that's the players. Yeah, the players would be the Shadow Bringers.
One brings shadow, one brings the night. Okay, I love that intro for Final Fantasy 14. It kicks. Watch it on YouTube. It's so good. Oh my God, Soken is amazing. Sorry, tangent. It's okay. But Soken is so good.
So good.
Okay, but yes, great examples of like characters using the attachments to ideals and beliefs to make the story, to spice it up.
Yeah.
To make it definitely better. So, how many times have you made your own Pantheons?
I actually love running custom Pantheons a lot, mostly thanks to Mike and his games that I played in.
I don't.
And we actually share some gods.
I have like a couple that I made in my Pantheon, but most of them have come around because of accidents. Mm-hmm. Like I rolled in that one time to identify a statue of a were-rat, and I called it this is the statue of Ben Barbalas, the rat god of all rats. Yes. And the DM's like, all right, it's official, and so now it's just a deity that's part of my world now, Ben Barbalas.
Yeah, that's cool.
Gallifraxis.
Yeah, Gallifraxis.
Gallifraxis,
the
Shadow Dragon, Gallifraxis. I've used Gallifraxis.
My favorite.
But it came about because of like an accident too.
Okay.
Conthune was great. I love that.
I use Conthune's holy text.
Dude, it's a fun god and a fun set of artifacts.
Yeah, it's just like Conthune, and then those who know go, oh no, Conthune.
Yes.
And everyone else is like, Conthune.
What is this? This is a nice book.
And then they learn.
It turns out that it's actually the Necronomicon and
that's
Book of Vile Darkness.
Conthune's holy text is the Book of Vile Darkness / the Necronomicon / any other super evil, super powerful
so it's like,
sentient tome.
How bad could it be? It says holy text on the front.
And a lot of times when I run Conthune, he's actually Yog-Sothoth of Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah,
I can definitely see that.
I did Neo-Lethotep once with it.
Oh yeah,
because he's like a trickster anyway. He likes pretending to be other things sometimes. That was also a good one.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. But that Nisgard, is that an actual one or is that?
Nah, I'm pretty sure I just rolled that up.
Yeah,
and I needed a shadow deity, and I rolled it up on like a random generator.
Okay,
and then you ran with it, and I just started building it up as you were playing.
Right. Yeah, because I made an assassin's guild that was a part cult because that's how we like it, and I was like Mike, I need a god that they worship, that they do these things and the kill in the shadows and work behind the scenes for. And he was like, it's named Nisgard. And I was like, ooh. It was like the
yeah. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta take these notes really quick. Oh
yes.
My.
I was like, okay, Mike. So here it goes. It's the sect of the shadows hand.
Yes. Keep going, Aaron.
Each finger on the hand represents a different branch of this cult / secret society.
That was some good stuff.
And I was like, this is the priest one, this does this. And he was like, yeah, no, fit in with all this stuff. No idea you were just making it up with me as I go. But like, that's not a good DM.
It's the fun way to do it.
If you don't know, then that's okay.
Yeah, I revealed my secrets. No.
Hey, dude, I use Nisgard, so that's great.
Heck yeah.
I think one of the ones I created that both you guys did, the homeless god.
Oh yeah.
The wandering, the homeless god. The one that you like, because essentially I had the players meet him in the very beginning of the game, and he was a bum, a homeless man, and the only thing he had on him that was special was he had a decanter of endless alcohol.
Yes.
And he bumped into them.
But it was always at the very opporune moment.
Yeah. He just
to guide us on the right path, a little nudge, just a
slow nudge. And I even you guys even found records that you guys started putting a story together. Like, wait, this isn't just a random person. This is a thing. This is a being.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I remember one time you guys were about to like say it, and he was like, "Hey, if you say my name, I'm gonna have to be that thing again. I don't want that." And you guys actually had to convince him to take on his portfolio again, which is actually another concept I didn't know about until we started playing together, about like other creatures and beings taking other gods' portfolios and gaining their domains. I didn't even know that concept.
Well, the thought of the domains is that they're ideals and that represent the highest of that type of ideal. So like honor or valor. Mm-hmm. And so that would be the portfolio. And when the god dies, somebody has to be the next ideal of the portfolio. It's almost like the portfolio is a living being that chooses a host.
And then that host kind of becomes a god of that thing. Which like I said, never had that concept when it came to gods until I had played with you guys. I was like, portfolio. I was like, oh.
I'm cooking now.
All right. Well, I just like that idea.
Let me pause the oven.
So like, so even if if a god of magic dies, eventually another being will pick up the domain or the portfolio of the god of magic, and then be reborn or remade.
Yes.
I just above board. I just never had that thought.
It's really crazy. Like if nobody picks the portfolio or the portfolio doesn't pick another host, that ideal just gets removed from the realm. Like you wouldn't. So if honor died, that no one would have honor anymore because the spirit of the portfolio.
So what you're saying is, we need to make a villain.
Oh geez.
Whose sole purpose
is
not only not to kill gods, but to remove the portfolios from the world.
No.
And so
like I'm gonna take honor away from men.
No.
I'm going to take this away from men.
No.
And just start removing different portfolios.
Stop it.
That sounds heinous. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I am 100% going to make a being who steals God's portfolios, but not to become a super god or anything, but he just wants them gone.
He just wants to remove them.
Remove them from the world. Return it back to maybe like an untamed chaos. What would be left? But chaos? Chaos?
Now we're cooking. We're cooking
again.
Oh
my gosh. So that segues into making your own deities.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we've made our own, like the kind of things you think about when you make a deity.
Man, domains are like a partial thing that I think of, but I like it when, like the Savage, for instance, we just made that because we liked the thing we saw and we liked the way the gods work.
I mean, I also liked the way the player was kind of playing, and so it all just kind of made itself. He played it a certain way with wrestling. He wanted to be this strong character, and he's like, "Well, I beseech my God to, recognize me because I wrestled, this Night Stalker." And I was like,
exactly.
And so God was just like, "Oh, no, what? That's a perfect deity right there."
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I very much also like to. Sometimes I will take players in old campaigns, and I will turn them into gods or demigods.
I've done that. Yeah, it's
and that player.
Fun.
For instance, in the first 5e full campaign we played together, Tom's character Eric's.
Yes.
He became a new god of chromatic dragons.
Was that the red dragon?
Yeah.
And him and the ancient red dragon fused together.
Merged. Yeah. Okay.
And then consumed the remains of Tiamat, and then essentially took on Tiamat's portfolio as the god of chromatic dragons. And so in some of my worlds now, I just, instead of a Tiamat, I have him. And he's just kind of in this he's in a mage tower that's in a volcano. And he's the god of chromatic dragons. He is the Everflame.
Actually, I remember the character. Or being in that campaign.
And him slowly giving himself over time after time to this dragon.
It was really good. But and also
with dragon, I think when I remember the most when the dragon would take over because he didn't like specific people. And then the dragon would attack somebody, and we're all like, "No,
yep.
What are you doing?"
I'm like, "Yeah, the dragon's in charge now."
Guess we're fighting.
It was really good. I was definitely baiting him out with that because I was like, so essentially what I did, just to explain, was the character found a ancient red dragon, like an overly powerful one. Chained in the fire plane with these god binding chains, and it couldn't escape. Its body is locked there, but essentially he was like, "I'll give you power if you accept me." And I was like, "All right, Tom, your soul is now divided into 7 pieces, and he is now one of those pieces."
Yep.
From him having the one piece, this is what you get.
But every time he called upon the power, one of the shards would just get replaced
by him.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those things where like it was a big power boost when it happened. Like, okay, giving up a piece of your soul is gonna give you this level of power now. Because remember, like he had the polymorph spell, but once he was at the point where when he polymorphed, he could just be a dragon at that CR. He didn't have to like do any beast. He could just be a dragon.
Be a dragon.
And then it got to the point where he didn't have to do that. He literally had a once a day, I can be an adult dragon.
Yeah. It was really cool.
Later levels. But that's because at that point he was like half and half. And then I was like, all right, Tom, you now talk like Venom. It is we and us.
Yeah, he owned that too.
It's we and us.
He was doing it
like
good.
You don't know where he begins and you end. You know? And it was like, that's not my enemy. Well, it is. You hate this guy. Why do you hate this guy?
We hate this guy.
We hate this guy. So, like, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, I also like the idea of creatures that have become so powerful that they essentially are the same thing as gods.
Yeah, that's a cool one, too. That's a cool
like
one
monsters that have ascended.
I feel like it's I don't know, this thing.
Like a kraken.
I read on the Sauhagen or whatever, like those fish type people that they're so crazy and they worship and they make all these sacrifices. It just makes these gods to just poof into existence.
Oh my goodness,
like
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I believe that. I believe that. Like
because they're mad. They're just insane.
Like, at what point? Like, I always think about this. Like, you know, if an ancient dragon, for instance, is a spellcaster. He's also an ancient dragon. At what point does he become more than just a dragon? You know? What tier of power does he become more? Like, because there's probably beings that worship it. Like, if he literally, like, controls an area of territory and they pay him homage, they probably worship him.
I mean, they had in one of the 3rd edition books.
Yeah, where you could do that.
Yeah, where they actually had a breakdown. Like, if you had 10,000 followers, you could be a tier 1 deity.
Okay.
Which would give you certain
That'd be a cool, yeah.
And so
I would love another reference system like that for, you know, deities. Because that, I mean, like, in a seafaring world, I consider a Leviathan a god.
That's fair.
Like, in the sea,
pretty much a god. Pretty much a god.
What else can you do?
Summon another Leviathan to fight that Leviathan.
I mean, like, if you have a Leviathan in your area and you're on the sea, and that thing wants tribute and worship, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna build a statue.
You give it
giant statue,
and you're gonna put your little maiden on a boat. You're gonna put her out there.
Is this Clash of the Titans now?
I mean. That's actually weird. Like, so what do you consider, like, so maybe if they're not a god, they'd be a titan, I guess? Like,
or whatever you choose to call them.
What is a titan but just like a big creature that's god level? I mean, Jurassic isn't a god, but I could definitely consider it a titan.
I mean, some of the more powerful giants are not necessarily gods, but they waged a whole war in, like, the lore against the gods.
Mm-hmm. So did dragons, I believe. That's when it got split.
They did.
Yeah, well, I feel like the differentiation between them is that, you know, when you got a powerful creature and they get worshipers, they're not necessarily getting their power from them, whereas gods get their power directly from worship.
Yeah. Like,
so that would be the big separator is whether or not you need worshipers in order to
and also, can the creature give people sauce? Can they give him some spice? Can they give him some power?
Well, I mean, if you're a powerful spellcaster, you probably could.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to, like, some of the 3rd edition or 2nd edition spell, like, permanency was a spell. So if I'm level 25, you know, CR dragon, I can be like, all right, your bull strength permanized. You know, I just touch you. You got it.
Yeah. I remember making this argument with Chris when we were talking about my character Porcelain. After I got permanency and I started doing all those things to alter myself, I'm like, I wouldn't consider that character human anymore. Like, she had altered herself, I think, beyond the natural scope of what a human was.
I mean, you were an outsider at that point.
Yeah. She was definitely.
You had so many spells on you.
Yeah, she was a weird concoction. Boy, oh boy, Pathfinder, with everything available,
is
kind of wonky.
It is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. And that was level 10. I have no idea what she'd have been like with, like, 5 more levels. I don't want to know.
Go into the epic levels, you know, 25 and level 30.
Man, I haven't been in epic levels in a long time.
I mean, like, granted, like, she can only do, like, 1, you know, like 10 damage. But that's not where her true power lies.
Hey, you don't have to kill anybody if you can get somebody else to do it for you. No.
Facts.
You don't have to have do more than 1 point of damage.
So we're talking about deities. We're talking about gods. We mentioned clerics. So we got to talk about divine intervention, right?
Hooray!
How do we feel about divine intervention?
I love using it.
What are you tasting, Mike? Is it sour? Is that sweet?
Is it bitterness?
Yeah, that's the bitterness.
Is that is that a bitter taste?
When they're like, I don't know, they ask for something completely ridiculous, and then they make the divine intervention roll, and it works, and I'm sitting there like,
oh no! See,
I don't know how this is exactly going to work, but
I always go based on their intention. If their intention is to do something with the god that doesn't quite go along with what they are supposed to be, as far as their tenets or rules of the god or the domains.
But, I mean, typically you would hope they would.
But some of them are like, we need you to come down and defeat this arch dragon, the final boss of the campaign.
And it's like
divine intervention.
And you know what they get? They get, with me, you get 1 solar coming down and making 1 attack.
Oh, you know what? Sometimes
Valkyrie.
That's it.
Down.
Now
that's all
I've
you
done.
get.
I've essentially, which is funny enough because BG3 does this, Baldur's Gate 3 does this, but I had someone use a divine intervention during a fight, and they were all in rough shape. So instead of smiting the creature, I was like, "All right, everyone, you just took a long rest."
Yeah,
nice.
Just kind of.
That's actually what I remember. Like this refilling of spell slots.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Refilled.
But to try to sit there and go, all right, God, do my job for me.
Hey, you know
it's
what?
It depends on the God. It depends on the context of what you're doing.
I'm just like, you don't always get what you want.
I mean, Asmodeus always wants to answer. That's how I like.
If
they worship like Asmodeus, he's like, oh yeah, just use that divine intervention.
Somebody did that.
I'm going in.
Remember that? Remember that? Somebody who's like, I don't care who answers. Somebody. I forgot if it was me running or you running, but somebody was like, all right, and then they tried that, and I was just like, you mean anybody? You don't care who?
Anybody?
No, I think it was you running. And you were like, oh, okay. I answer, and the thing worked, and then you find out it was like one of the Lords of Hell.
Yeah, like 10 sessions later.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean,
whoops.
Yeah.
You remember that time I helped you out? Well, it wasn't for free.
No, it wasn't.
When you called on me, you actually signed a contract. And you didn't even state the stipulations.
Shame on you for not saying the full, you didn't say what you wanted.
I got the right. You wrote me a blank check. And now your party has to
it was specifically, too, I think I remember because they didn't worship a god until they were in that moment. They were like, I need help. Anyone. And then you're just like, behold.
I have come to answer. Yeah. Then, of course, there's players who worship dark deities.
Yeah.
Or people who are warlocks, right? Warlocks who choose fiends and outer beings.
Yeah.
And they want to call on their patrons. They want to... And I'm usually like, are you giving some tribute? Okay. Well, you get a little something for it, but, there's always a little bit of a catch.
I always... play the dark deity as it would be played and have them start asking for them to do things.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It also, to me, because there's no alignment really in 5e anymore. There's rough alignments.
Yeah.
But if you ask your deity for something, and you haven't been doing your devotions, you haven't been praying.
Well, yeah,
roll a divine intervention. Okay.
So it's like you're worshiping Korn, the blood god, but you're out there just healing everybody, and you're a holy.
So yeah. Oh, I succeeded on my divine
and
intervention. Cool. A different god that follows what you're doing answers.
Korn's like, you know what? I'm not liking what I'm seeing. So if you don't get back on this Korn paycheck, I'm coming down. I'm sending some demons after you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or with warlocks, if I'm playing a game and someone's like, I want to be a warlock to this being, okay. Well, you know what? He gave you those powers for a reason. If you think about it, anyone who's a warlock, there's a warlock in your game, and they made a pact
Oh, yeah.
with a being, that means that being is an agreement. They don't just get the powers for free.
No, there's some sort of deal.
There's a deal involved.
I try to do this with the hex blades too. When players play hex blades, I'm like, you made a deal with an intelligent weapon, so that weapon has an agenda. So if that's the Trident of Poseidon, he wants you to go bathe in water randomly every once in a while for no reason whatsoever.
Or harvest a soul every now and then.
Yeah.
If it's the black blade, if it's black razor, you just got to do what you got to do. It's really funny because I technically have like 2 artifacts, so it's so weird.
Oh no, it was like I guess I wasn't a hexblade, but my one character constantly wanted to take baths.
Yeah.
You had the body of a nymph of the River King.
Yeah, and so the River King kept giving me the call of the water randomly, and I had to make wisdom saving throws, or I would just randomly throw my clothes off and run into the body of water.
Yep, you just wanted to be there.
Yeah.
That was actually really good because you took that body, and in response, it was like, well,
and the party's like, what are you doing? He's like, I must go bathe in these waters for 48 hours.
Yeah. Golly.
Yeah. Which is funny because in that game, essentially, our character became a demon of the abyss willingly. He willingly went to the abyss and carved out his own domain.
Yep.
I don't know, man. He was just a really wacky character. Well, he was a wizard, a level 20 wizard.
No. He was not a wizard, Aaron.
He was.
Don't say that he
was 20 levels of wizard.
No. I know Aaron's like he's got 20 levels of wizard. He had 20 in all his stats. He's not.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
We rolled stats, and they saw those stats. And we knew what was going to happen once I rolled those stats, and I'm a blade singing wizard.
Yep. Lots of death.
Lots of death. I want you to know I probably won't play a blade singing wizard for a long time. I check marked that box. I squirreled it all in.
I've done something. I've made an Adonis, the perfect elven being.
Yes. That's what my joke was. I was like, all right, so, there's other elves, and then my elf is like Tolkien elf. You guys are like fantasy D&D elves. I am like Tolkien elf, meaning I am just that much better.
No. See, all the elven statues are of you. That's actually the secret.
Yeah, he was. Oh my God, he was.
You see those statues? Those are actually of me. All right.
And he wasn't a good person. He was not a good person.
No, not in the slides. The thing about that game is, I got a lot more flack for being evil, even though I was like lawful neutral. Yes. But you were actually evil, but people treated you like you were neutral good. And I was sitting there
when you have a charisma of 20, a strength, con, and dex of 20.
Yeah, you were like, I'm not evil. And everybody's like, he can't be a bad guy. Look at those abs. And I was
look
like,
at this jawline. Can a man that beautiful be evil? No, he can't.
Oh,
wait,
man.
I thought didn't he just throw someone out of a window and hung them by the drapes?
It was clearly a suicide. Whatever.
We're the Council of Nobles. You won't agree? Okay. Throw one over.
They clearly jumped out the window themselves.
I'm like, okay. So, hey, guys, you need to come to an agreement, or I will hang you 2 by 2 until I get what I want. And just they're like, this is not how politics is done. He's like, I don't care.
Yep.
He looked at him like, who's going to stop me? And I want you to know, I have to give it to. I've given her more than props, but that was a wacky character to have to deal with in their campaign.
Yeah.
Because not only was he talking the most crap, but he was built to back it up.
No. Oh yeah. No, he
Absolutely.
did. That was the thing. He couldn't stop him. He's like, you say that again, I'm going to put your face into this mirror.
I forgot. He slammed his face into the mirror. She was like, why are you fist fighting me? You're a wizard.
It's like, do you not see my 20 strength?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I'm going to beat you with these hands. Put my hand, put these paws on you. Oh, goodness. Yeah. No, he was, they're like, and it was like, because I remember when he finally died, she was like, yeah, he's good. I'm like, let's be honest. He's not going anywhere good. He has done nothing good. Granted, he did save the elven people, But boy, oh boy, did he burn a lot of bridges on the way. It was really funny. Oh my God. That was hilarious. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, man.
I forgot about the mirror.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, back on track. We're there. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, it can just make interesting interactions when people play into those kinds of things. In that game, gods were a big part because we were the whole people were cursed by the god.
Well, yeah, and we ended up having to fight that god at kind of like the end of the game.
Yep. You know, gods are good bad guys at the end. Yeah, I remember you guys fought like an avatar of Asmodeus at the end.
Yes.
He had that little thing where he brought back all your old foes to fight you again and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, Nick was there for that one game I ran in 3rd edition that had like the Clash of the Gods at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So like the party was there. And they had to participate in this giant clash of deities.
Oh, that's cool.
Because each of the deities rallied all of their followers to this titanic clash. Because you had the Pharaonian like pantheon, and they were battling the monster pantheon, and both of them were fighting the Cthulhu as he was coming out of the sky.
Oh yeah.
And so the two the Pharaoh pantheon and the
that's
monster.
a good point.
Is that the one where I got Space Marine armor?
Yeah.
That was so goofy.
That brings up another great point because, like, outer beings, right? Like, I treat them a little differently, too.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know in a lot of, like, the old D&D lore, like, the gods, like, those, they do not like those creatures. The things that live outside of the sphere, like those Cthulhian creatures.
Oh,
because those things work on a whole different operating level in that, like, game, in that mythos.
Yeah. No, they're scale alone.
Yeah. World warping kind of
crazy,
realm eating.
But man, do they make for fun bad guys.
Yeah. Like I even had like especially when like I made gods, sometimes I just deal with like an idea or a concept. There was one game we were playing and like I was like, this is a shrine to some forgotten deity, and they're like, ooh, I want to do a roll. And then I had them literally like take psychic damage to read the name, They're like, oh.
Actually, I think I remember you telling me about
like,
that.
like their brains started like to hurt. Like,
well, that's why I like whenever I'm doing Yog Sothoth as one of my main villains because he's an outer being. That's why Conthun was made, so that he could get worshippers, but they're not saying his name.
Yeah.
They're saying Conthun so they don't get hurt when they say it. Okay. So anybody can get in there. But you're really dipping into Yog Sothoth's pool of knowledge and his power.
And fun fact for that, I also made it that way because I had no idea what god it was.
Yes.
So
you can't say his name.
Yeah, even trying to remember the name like gives you damage. Like they're like, oh, ooh,
whoops,
ooh. I was like, yeah, ooh. Ooh, that's scary.
Let me write that down.
Let me figure out. Give me some weeks so I can figure out who the heck this is. 1 year later, remember the ancient text. It has come back again. That's essentially what I did.
Fair enough.
Okay. But deities can definitely be fun. I enjoy using them.
One last little tidbit. I had one game that was like in the time of troubles, and all the player characters had to party up with their actual deities in the game.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going to have deities in your game, make sure the deities aren't like doing the player's work for them, because that's not the goal. They guide, they point to the path, but they don't do the heavy lifting.
No, they shouldn't.
Because the players are the heroes.
Yeah.
Not the deities.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of having like a full powered god walking with you? They can do everything they can do. If they're there, then
that's what made going back to like the time of troubles really fun, because the clerics were traveling with the deities.
Yeah, but I mean, but the scale matched the whole.
Yeah, and the deities' lives were in danger, and so in order to get to the end of the game for their deity to regain their power, they had to keep their deity alive through the campaign.
Yes,
and so it created moments of tension. It's like, if I let my god die here,
it's over.
It's over.
Yeah,
that's just really good. But like I said, there's just a lot of cool and fun ways to do deities in your tabletop game.
All sorts.
Yeah. So I have at the end of the session we do a question.
Yeah.
So this question has a little bit of backstory to it.
Okay.
Because the question came, and then someone posted the same thing, and I was just watching the internet devolve in front of me, because you can't have an opinion on the internet.
Trolls.
And people also have bad opinions on the internet.
Fair enough.
Right? So
fair enough.
This person was asking if we had read the Dungeon Master Guide from cover to cover. So then when they posted about it, people were calling them like a bad Dungeon Master because they haven't read the book from front to back.
Oh.
And it just like devolved.
Really?
So our question is, my first question, we're just going to answer it just yes or no. Have you read the Dungeon Master Guide from front to back?
No.
Have you read it from front to back?
Have I even read the Dungeon Master's Guide?
Facts.
Wow.
Facts.
Wait, don't you remember we were playing yesterday and it was like reference Dungeon Master's Guide Chapter 8 for Madness Effects? I was like, what is this? I don't even know that was in there.
Yeah.
I also haven't read it from front to back. And here's the thing, that doesn't make you a bad DM. That doesn't.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I
read
actually
it front
don't
to
even
back.
think you need the Dungeon Master's Guide to run the game. You
No,
need a player's
it's a guide.
handbook and the monster's manual, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, does it help to read some of through the stuff? Yes, but like I use the DMG more as a reference system.
Especially for magic items.
Yeah, I mean, but like,
Yeah.
if I'm doing something that involves the planes, I will go to the planes section, and then we'll read that section.
Yeah, you don't need it right away. You don't need to know everything
I
back
just
to
thought
back.
it was crazy. There are people. I mean, straight up. Definitely comment if you feel like you have, if you have read it. More power to you. I'm not saying nothing's
absolutely.
wrong with reading it from front to back, but I just feel like telling someone that they're not a good DM because they haven't read the monster manual from front to back is just kind of crazy. Dungeon Master Guide.
Yeah.
You know what? Both.
Well, I can say I've read the monster manual front to back because I've used every monster at some point.
That's fair.
You know what? Yeah, probably
That's
not.
fair.
And I think I've read a good part of the manual, only because I've done a lot of different references. But I usually just read the sections and stuff I need.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: I'm never gonna really get into I'm never gonna read that whole section about puzzles, because number one, I hate puzzles, and when I do puzzles, I do puzzles my way.
Yeah.
Because that's just not the kind of DM I am. Because I feel like if I can't understand a puzzle, I'm not gonna run it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Man.
That's
puzzles.
fair.
If I have
Puzzles are their own like episode.
Okay, we're not gonna get into puzzles.
We could talk about puzzles for a while.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But I think what we're trying to say is, if anyone thinks that someone's a bad dungeon master because they haven't read the whole book, you suck.
There you go.
You suck.
Yeah.
Because that's a really stupid bar to hold another DM on.
That is
And
fair.
facts.
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 Yeah.
Facts.
The Carfax.
That's what they wanted. The Carfax.
Nah, they ain't getting it.
Yeah. It's such a like a gatekeepy kind of
It is.
elitist kind of I'm better than you kind of bar that is so superficial and it doesn't actually mean a damn thing.
Nope.
And I think that's what bothers me about it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, where does it actually stop? Well, did you read Tasha's Cauldron of Everything back to back?
Like,
Or
I mean,
Xanathar's Guide. Did you read everything in Xanathar's Guide?
yeah, it's stupid.
Did you read the entire Horus Heresy?
Like,
Then you know
can't.
nothing about
Yes.
Warhammer.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can. But
It's an unfair bar to say.
it's dumb.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's unfair and it's not.
I read it, and it was one of those things where like I knew I couldn't respond to it because I know I was gonna say something like vitriolic, and that would just keep making it keep going.
Or just keep feeding the trolls.
But you know what?
You don't feed the trolls.
This is my show, and I have the mic, meaning I can say what I want. That was stupid. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. So we decided to go back and get the Trix.
The Twix.
Trix. Tricks are for kids. Twix. So Twix coffee another try, because the last time we tried it, we did that long video, and we had
several cups of coffee.
Several cups of coffee that night. We were tired. Davita was tired. Everyone was wiped out. So now, fresh palate. How do we feel about it last time? Because the first time, it did not do well for us the first time it went.
Listen, I had this one straight. No sugar, no cream, no nothing. Hold on 1 second. Mm-hmm. I don't taste Twix. I'm sorry. Maybe if I added creamer to it.
We put a little Twix creamer in there.
It's like
obviously you're supposed to break a Twix that they have here.
You know, that was
Guild Gaming.
You kind of dip it
on
like
155 Bryn Mawr Road, Jacksonville, North Carolina. You come here, you buy a Twix, then break it into your coffee. And
no, you have to simmer it on top like the Stroop waffles we did that one episode. Yeah, the Stroop waffles.
I'm gonna have
you stir it with the Twix. Remember one time Tommy had me put a Reese's in my coffee, and I was like, "This is too much. It's delicious, but boy, I shouldn't."
You know that is on to something. That sounds amazing.
All right,
but I
yeah.
I'm gonna give it like an 8.
Okay, fun fact. I didn't taste the Twix either. But it was better to me than it was last time.
Okay.
The coffee was just overall better. So I think like last time I gave it like a 7, and I'm gonna give it a 10 this time.
Oh,
okay.
Mid grade.
Yeah, it bumped up a notch.
Well, there's some sort of after flavor. I don't know what it is.
It's not Twix.
Yeah, no,
it
ain't
Twix.
It's processed.
And it's something. I'm just like,
I kind of get a bitter.
Yeah,
taste
definitely a very bitter taste. I feel like it's also very watered down, like a very watered down type of coffee. Mm-hmm. And I'll admit, I do not like this coffee at all. So
oh no, what are you gonna give it?
I give it a 2.
Oh no, that's almost a nat 1. That's crazy.
A 2.
Now I gotta know what'll make Mike go ew, nat 1.
Oh my god, I feel like when our old videos we had a coffee that we all thought was really disgusting. Oh no! The coffee we had at the gas station, we gave that coffee nat 1.
Yeah, we did.
All right. So even the coffee where I poured the 2-year-old milk into, that was like it was better than this. Okay,
I remember that.
That expired milk was better than this brew.
Oh my god! All right, well guys, continue to like. Continue to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell notification. We have more videos coming soon. And remember, the quest never ends.
Ever.
Forever. All right.